Morning, everybody. Sean here with Lowcountry Conversation, and we're back. We've taken a little hiatus, get some stuff under control, but in the studio today we've got Robb Wells, the President and CEO of Visit Beaufort Convention and Visitors Bureau. Robb, we appreciate it. We've had a relationship for a while. It's been a couple years.
Man, Sean, we've been partners for a long time, it's it's one of those things in this industry and where I sit. You need great partners, and SK has been a great partner of Visit Beaufort-Port and the Sea Islands for years now.
Yeah,
and so it's crazy. I think within a couple of years we'll be a decade together. It's kind of cool, man.
It is for sure.
A cool feel.
It is. We've loved the relationship. We love seeing how tourism has grown in the area and the benefit that we have on that tourism and growth, just from a number standpoint, say from social media. But you've got a lot of data that we were just talking about that's exciting to hear about, especially for those that are out there that love numbers and love to know about geofencing and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you kind of the platform, if you will, and you just run it, talk.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm kind of a nerdy numbers guy anyway, but it's imperative to do that because, you know, we are, in our role as the Convention and Visitor Bureau, we are stewards of the public money that is collected through accommodations tax and that stuff. And so we want to make sure that the investment that we're making to attract, visitors to the area is spent not in a very frivolous manner, not based on what Robb's instincts are, but what the data is suggesting. So, I jokingly will tell people, like they say, if you got $1 to spend, where are you going to spend it? Well, should be top of mind, and it is Greenville, South Carolina.
Right.
Greenville, Charlotte, Atlanta, those are the top three markets for bringing people into northern Beaufort County. It's always been a good feeder market. And you know what? That translates. You see it on the streets. And so, some of the new stuff that we're doing is in part because, the technology is there.
Yep.
With social media, the web, our website, being able to kind of funnel people through, get the information they're looking for, have them share that experience. And so we needed to kind of take a dive. We saw things in 2020, obviously, with what was happening with the pandemic at the time. We had to make some strategic moves. And one of those was we invested in some data.
Yep.
We wanted to track people. We needed to be able to identify who was coming, or are they still coming? So we went down that path. 2021, we started fleshing it out a little bit, and now we're operating under 2022 with that data running forward, and it's fun to share, fun to go with. Not to get too much into the tech of it, but we can segment what's happening in Beaufort, or pull Port Royal out. It's fun to watch just how the summer's hit, right?
Yeah.
You got the 4th of July celebration that just took down here at Sands Beach, and man, you can see the population of Sands Beach pop up, and now it's always the one or two attraction in Port Royal area, much like Waterfront Park is in the city of Beaufort, and both of them kind of fell in comparison to Hunting Island.
Yeah.
But all three attractions tell a story about this area, and see, that's the beauty I have. Steve Jobs was, when he ran Pixar, said the power's in the storyteller. It lies with the storyteller, and the CVB is the storyteller for the city of Beaufort, Port Royal, and the Sea Islands, and we want to make sure that we're telling our story to the right people.
Yeah, because what I think a lot of people don't understand is the funding. I mean, both these municipalities attribute to that.
Yep.
They contribute to the funding, and they obviously want to know where their dollars being spent. You kind of touched on that at the beginning briefly. That you have to be held accountable for how that dollars where they're going. And then I know when you have budget meetings, you kind of talk about a plan, and I don't think people realize that all this stuff that goes in the back end of this to showcase and to make sure the dollars are being spent well.
Yeah, and you guys are well aware of this as an agency that really works data into the planning for their partners and stuff and your clients. We do the same thing. We're trying very hard to make sure that when we make an ad placement, that there's enough backing behind it, so it's just not just a whim. Right. A lot of people, unfortunately, will buy advertising because it may be something that they're interested in, and that's fine. It is a strategy. Data suggests that if you're targeting a certain demographic, then you need to find out what that demographic is looking for, and can your business or your destination fit that demographic?
Yeah, it's fantastic. So the data tracking, the geofencing, everybody, it was a big buzzword that Facebook knows everything that I'm talking about. But there's benefits to having those geofencing in because it lets markets and businesses know when traffic is, and there's back history of that, so they can prepare for certain things, and you know where those people are coming from, if they're frequent visitors, if they're reoccurring visitors. So you were talking a little bit about the 2022 trends. And obviously fuel pricing is a big concern. You want to hit a little bit about that and what we can anticipate?
Yeah, well, so 2021 was a record year. I mean, we've not seen numbers like that. I think there was a lot of what the industry deemed revenge tourism. People were just like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're traveling. Yeah. I think everybody did. Yeah. They were free to move, and they did. 2022 is kind of paced back, and there's a couple factors that did that. We had a strong start. First quarter, January, February was stronger than normal, but still trailed 2021 a little bit. Now you start to see the rising fuel cost. Well, that's the number one travel component that people are making decisions on, especially in a drive market such as our area. And that's playing a role. And while we are seeing lower numbers of visitors into the market, with the primary reason being cost, there's still a demand to travel. I think the latest Longwood study said it's somewhere around 87% of the people are still wanting to travel within the 6-month window. Our data suggested it's probably going to be closer to that 6-month window. They're going to take it all the way out. They're going to kind of see what the fuel cost situation is going to be before they pull the trigger. Right. It hasn't affected summer travel, to harbor, Fripp, hunting. Right. A lot of the short-term rentals that are in and around the water. They haven't seen a decrease because people are taking that summer vacation. But of course, as far as the repeat visitors, people who kind of escaped Charleston a little bit, and Columbia, they are kind of pulling back just a hair. Yeah, we're seeing that in some of the numbers. And so during these type of slowdowns, if you will, when travelers, this is a time where data really makes a difference because we want to be even more strategic in where we make our placement, where we make our pitch. Yeah, for sure. Is that so? Because we're a drive time destination, is that consistent with areas that are closer to airports? Yeah, I mean it's different. I mean, fuel cost for flying is very high right now. Yeah, I mean, you can still find good deals if you're willing to make a far enough purchase in advance. But Beaufort is primarily a drive market. Yeah. We do pick up, people flying into Savannah, doing the Savannah, Beaufort, Charleston itinerary, or vice, in reverse of that. But when you're a primary drive market, fuel cost is number one. So when AAA comes out with their fuel cost gauge of what travel perks will look like, that's something people have to take into consideration. Yeah, it is. We travel frequently, and we too set, we're 3 to 4 months out, and then we'll allocate X amount of dollars to that just to make sure that we're okay and we understand the fuel costs, and then we'll price out driving versus flying. I know my wife is headed to California for a family event and weighed out the options of flying versus driving, and she's going to fly this time. She's done a couple drives, but just with rising fuel costs and then hotel accommodations, everything rising up, it's shifted that. So. Yeah, and time also, that's a long haul, right? That is a long haul. Yeah, so I would probably choose flying as well. Yeah, but we have seen it. There are some positive signs showing up. Our market is seeing, more like association meetings and conferences come to the market, which is great. It is. I mean, that's a good way of doing it. That's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday type deal instead of a backpack in the weekend. Right. We're seeing, weddings are still very popular in the area. That is something that was not as prevalent in, say, 18 and 19, but is really prevalent 21, 22, and into 23 and 24 even. Yeah. In some cases, we're seeing some of the requests come in. So it's interesting to see the dynamics change. Fuel costs being the number one, but I will go ahead and say this. The destination is in a good position because we are sandwiched in between two popular destinations, including a beach destination in Hilton Head that helps draw attention to the area. So there's some benefit there. The downside is that, people are going to choose what top of mind destination they've been in the past, and so that puts us in a competition. Right. How do we compete with every other destination that's trying to target those people? Yeah. So that's where data comes in. We're excited about some of the stuff coming out.
Yeah, yeah. As are we. I love data. I love numbers, and it tells a different story. And everybody just sees what they see, and it's the traffic. They have these complaints. The locals have the complaints of the traffic and things like that. It's kind of it's a necessary evil that has to come with it. We need those tax dollars that are being spent, and those tourism dollars.
Yeah, traffic is and people wondering if they're going to lose that authenticity to the community and stuff like that. We understand that as well.
Yeah.
We understand it's what draws people to the area as far as the visitation. We understand those things and are cognizant of how we position the destinations.
Yeah. Well, we love Beaufort. I've been here January 19th will be 27.
Wow, that's awesome.
26, 27 years. So I love the area, and I don't plan on going anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So, Rob, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
This was fun. We definitely don't sit down enough and talk strategic information like this.
No.
So I do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody.